listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio once again. We are here today, and man, we have another amazing show lined up for y'all today. Today, we have a true honor talking to Andre Paradis. He is a relationship coach, an NLP coach, an educator of effective communication, a published writer, a public speaker, an ordained minister. And man, he probably has a resume that can last 3 hours, because that right there is probably almost a minute long introduction. But today's topic, we're going to be talking about building healthy and long-term relationships. But he has an amazing background. He used to be a dancer. He had a dancing career, worked with some legends, some celebrities. When it comes to meeting his wife, there's a story behind that. When it comes to cars, when it comes to family, all of that. So today's talking points about building a healthy relationship, he definitely has some really amazing stories to back this up. So first and foremost, Andre, I want to say thank you for taking time out of your schedule today. How you doing, man?
Thank you for, helping me spread this out. My mission is really to help people understand why relationships are so difficult in our culture nowadays, because it's gotten worse, which doesn't make sense, because it should be better, because we equalize the playing field, right? We soften men and boss babe the women. Right? It doesn't work in love. It works for business, but nobody understands why. So it's very, very confusing. So thank you for helping me kind of bring a little bit of hope. That's really all I want to do, right? Ladies, there is hope. Men, there is hope, except you have to kind of pivot away from what's out there in the culture, because that actually will keep you single and struggling and wondering why more than anything else. Whew. So thank you.
And before we jump in fully into the topic, if you can share the story of you being a professional dancer, if you can, and how you met your wife, because I believe that will definitely anchor in the topic.
So I live what I teach. A lot of people look at me and I look like a musician and an animal, and people think the first question I get from women is like, "Are you in a relationship? Do you have a wife?" And I go, "Yes, I have a wife and kids for over 30 years." But my career started as a professional dancer. It was a thing that kept me alive, honestly. I was a kid that was not very happy, terrible childhood. So dancing kind of lifted my spirit. I found dancing at 15 with ballroom, took it to jazz level, took it to professional level, made it all the way to Michael Jackson and Prince and Paula Abdul. That was stage one of my life, I call it. It was fantastic. But, dancing literally saved my life. It changed the chemistry of my depressed brain into, life could be, wow, this could work. This could be fun. Maybe so that was the beginning of the story. My wife, the business model for dancing professionally in Los Angeles, and also New York was a different vibe, is you perform, you travel, you perform, right? You come home, you teach. And then next gig, you perform. So you go in and out of town all the time, performing, and sometimes you're teaching abroad. I've taught everywhere, in Bangkok and in Japan. And so sometimes they'd fly me out just to teach, because my stuff was fun and athletic. So I met my wife in class, in my class, in 91. Oh, that's crazy. So she was one of my students. Oopsie. Well, I mean, where else are you going to meet the girls, right? So it was me and 45 women, young women. And I'd been on the road, by the way, for about a year and a half, right before this. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, chicks, women, like just chaos, like exactly the life of the road. That's just how it goes. Really, really fun. But on the other side, coming off the road, I was done with being that animal. And I realized I was actually much more square and conservative than I even knew I was. After that life, I'm like, it was dangerous. It was crazy. It gets you nowhere, right? And I just started dangerous. So by the time I came off the road, I thought, I'm looking for the one. She walked into my class. So that's the moment I saw her, which is interesting, by the way. At the moment I saw her, I knew that was her. Like in 2.5 minutes, it was like, I had my radar up looking, radars. I would looking for chicks, like, I'm surrounded with 45 women, young women, sexy women, dancing women, twice a day, 7 days, 6 days a week. No, ding, 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 like 2.5 minutes. that was 30 years ago. She's not my wife. So finds out interesting that men know first. Men know when they meet their wives in minutes. It's fascinating. It's part of my work now, and I thought it's just kind of this. Women take 3 months to realize if this is the man. For us, we know in 3 minutes. Intuition. We have very strong intuition.
Once again, you listen to I Am Refocused Radio and watching us online. We're talking to our guest today, Andre Paradis. You go to his website, projectequinox.net. I want to talk about that website because that is the Project Equinox coaching is something that you found and that you build to help women and men to build strong, lasting, and healthy relationships. And that also will tie into today's topic. So when you discovered that could be an opportunity for you, at what point did you decide to launch it and say, you know what, it's time to help more people and make this happen?
Hey, my life is a novel. It's ridiculous. So after dancing, I opened a car business in Los Angeles because I didn't want to. We're gonna start a family, and I wasn't gonna be absent. I was not gonna be my dad. I was gonna be present. So I got grounded myself, opened a car business. But this entire time, since I was 23 years old, I was always into personal development, transformational work, personal development, transformational work, workshop. That was workshop head. That's kind of built my life, helped me really focus and find my gifts and all that jazz. And so 2006, I'm married with 2 kids, little kids. I have a toddler and a 4-year-old. And I'd taken the car business as high as I could with this brain. So I go to a workshop for 3 days to learn how to raise the roof. In that workshop, of course, 3 days up north, in Northern California. On the flight back to Los Angeles, 200 people on a plane, and I'm sitting in a row. There's like 3 and 3 seats. I'm sitting with a couple that I met at the workshop. I thought, hey, isn't that interestingly random? At the 200 seats, the 3 of us sitting together because we talked many, many times and went out for lunch one time. Anyway, point is, the lady says to me on the flight, what are you doing next weekend? I go, next weekend I'm free. Why? She goes, you want to come to a workshop? It's on me. And I go, of course, absolutely, because these could be expensive. I'm invited. She's on her. Yes. I'm a curious guy. You're going to teach me something. Yes. I'm used to these things. I love these things. And then I asked what it was. I'm like, so what's the workshop about? And she goes, that's important. It's called Understanding Women. Really? Really? Anyway, so I went there thinking it was going to be cute. All I could tell you is I walked in on Saturday morning, 400 people in the space. Not cute. Something is huge here. And sure enough, at the end of the workshop, my brain was all over the wall, exploded. You know, we know that men and women are different. You have no idea. So I came out of that workshop knowing and understanding I knew nothing, zero. This dude, who's as the ease of the ladies, knows really nothing about how they function, how they operate, and why, which meant I know nothing about my wife. Dude, you know, alarm, because again, I have my family, I have my kids, right? We're doing great. We're not looking for this information. I'm just tripping on it. But it was huge for me I wasn't going to be a statistic because I didn't know, right? All my siblings are divorced twice and 3 times. I have my family. I'm not going to be a statistic because I didn't know this. And that's how it started. So 2006, I went crazy. I took all their workshops. I started assisting the workshops because you could do this after taking a workshop. Right? You jump in the room for free just to get more. The more I learned, the more I realized I knew nothing. And there was more. I became a workshop leader for the company on track. But then too much politics. So then that's how I continued training with John Gray, Esther Perel, Shanti Felhan. I just kept picking up masters in different areas of psychology, anthropology, chemistry of our bodies. That's Dr. John Gray. And so I kept learning these different angles, and this cocktail that I have now, people know which shoulder I'm standing on. So by 2009, I still have the car business, but people at the car business asking me about relationship, people would open up on me. I've always had that. People just tell me their deepest strangers. Just follow. So, okay. So it started happening at work. Anyway, 2009, I started Project Equinox officially because that was going to be the third part of my life. Dancing, cars, teaching. But it was it kind of, I can't say it just happened, but it kind of just unfolded that way, like without necessarily me thinking. It was just, I was doing it for us, so we wouldn't be sadistic. And next thing you know, I want to change the world. Hey.
So my next question, to follow up on that, you mentioned moments ago being able to study under some of the biggest relationship experts.
Yep.
Kind of part two question. First one would be, I'll ask after you answer. First one would be, what was one of the major insights from what you learned from those experts that you feel made the biggest impact today?
Well, that first workshop was with Alison Armstrong, who teaches about anthropology, like the reason, the way, and the the fact that we're driven by our instinct most of the time, but we think we're beyond that. And we're so not beyond that. It explains everything. It explains everything about, reacting this way to something that makes no sense. But for both men and women, it's like the instincts that drive us that are still in place. We have no idea. We think we're beyond that, but we're not. So that was a huge part. That was the beginning of the journey of dig it in, because we think we're a version of each other and we're not. So Alison anthropology. Dr. John Gray was all about the chemistry of our bodies and our brain. It's that, a brain soaked in testosterone. It's a different engine than a brain soaked in estrogen. And all that comes with that explain why we operate differently, what we value that's different, what we, like men and women, what I think is cool, my wife thinks is crazy or stupid. And what I think she thinks is cool, I'm like, really? That's exciting? We're different machines in every way. So to decode that, it was magical stuff, because we think we're a version of each other. We're not, right? So chemically, we're, the way men process, emotions and information is completely different than a woman does. Now, instead of fighting about this, we embrace this, we explain it, we decode it, we work with it, because it's just, we're built to be in opposition, right? Esther Perel is all about, she's a French therapist in New York City for 30 years. She still talks like this after 30 years. She's famous now, actually. She's everywhere on YouTube. Back in the day, she wasn't, but her whole angle is intimacy. Like, how do you keep intimacy over years and years? Why people break it, right? Why people fall out, why people don't fall out. The one, like, fantastic, incredible stuff that everybody has questions about. Shanti Felhan is about love and respect, right? The dynamic of love and respect. Men need respect first. Women need love first. We both need both, but they come backwards. Hello, a whole different topic here. We could have this today, right? And then the one that kind of gelled it all together on some level. I was doing my own research, my own study myself, but I spent 3.5 years with Dr. Pat Allen here in Los Angeles, who's a family child marriage therapist for 46 years. And I sat in a room with her and 3 other people, typically 2 other women, sometimes 4, for 3.5 years. And she taught us everything you should learn in 46 years. So that was like, put a bow on this whole thing, right? And this is why I say, what I talk about is not my opinion. It's the research, the data. It's the masters on which shoulders I stand on. Their research, their data. There's maybe 200 years of collective learning there, right? So I was like, nothing I say is my opinion. It's the work, the research, the data, the interviews, men and women. So it's fun because I call it, I teach the ladies. I have the owner's manual for a man, and I have an owner's manual for the ladies. Understanding how we're operating so differently in all these aspects. And so when you understand the other side, then you can dance with the other side. It's, in our culture, we point the finger at each other, and men should be more like women. No, that's your girlfriend. That's not going to be a real man ever, right? And women should be more strong, independent, powerful, and more masculine, where that irritates masculine men. So that's not working. So that's my work. So there's a lot here to unpack, as you can tell.
It's some really good stuff, what you're saying. Once again, listen to I Am Refocused Radio and watching this online. We're talking to our guest today, Andre Paradis. Go to his website, projectequinox.net. We're talking about today, build a healthy long-term relationship. And my next question for you, to follow up on what you were talking about with the great people that were in your coaches and all that, all those different years of experience, rich experience. My next question is the importance of communication is something that you really brand on. Checking out your website, you really emphasize the importance of effective communication. So my next question would be, what are some of the most common communication mistakes that you have seen couples make?
Question of the year. It's one of the reasons why it's such a big topic for me is because if you like, and this is again, well, it makes no sense to most people. We don't think of it that way because we don't think about things necessarily. We just do what we do, and we get confused when it's not working, or we think the other one is wrong and they're misbehaving. And so, but get this, in communication style between men and women, it's very different between men on men. There's a natural kind of lineage. With women and women is a natural lineage, but men to women, there's not. We have different filters. So what I say to a woman is not what she hears. Now it sounds crazy, but it's factual, and I can explain. And when women talk to us, what we hear is not what they're saying. We have different filters through which we process information and words coming at us, but they're completely backwards. So the miscommunication in the realm between men and women is insane, because she'll say something, she thinks she's being obvious. She uses hints, innuendos, and tone of voice, thinking she's being obvious, because every girl in the space is like, it's obvious what she's saying. And we're like, what are you talking about? Now I'm a moron, a jerk, who's obviously not understanding anything she's saying because I choose to be that guy. But this is how we collide with it. You don't even know it. And when we talk to women, the way they listen, so we speak and listen completely different with a filter. When you and I say something to each other, like, you listen to the words I'm saying, right? So we think the same thing occurs on the other side, but women don't listen to what we're saying. They're trying to guess what we're trying to tell them. So when a woman when you talk to a woman, she's thinking, what's he trying to tell me? What's he trying to tell me? Not the words. Like, this is crazy, but it's factual, right? So what's he trying to tell me? Because that's how they speak to each other. They speak in hints and innuendos. So it's not the words, it's the tone and the meaning behind it. They have a very, very acute sense of that. The communication is not using or listening to words. It's listening to the emotion and the vibrations and the volume and the tone. We don't do this. We go, right? We listen to the words. So talk to a woman, she's thinking, what's he trying to tell me? What's he trying to tell me? Even though I just said it, right? It can be that. So, because that's not how they talk, right? So they find a meaning, or often you'll see this with ladies, right? Or they look at you like, why are you telling me this? Like, what's that got to do with me? That's their filters. For us is, what's the point? How can I help? Right? That's it. So these are two different machines. Get to the point, and what is it you need help with? Right? What's the point? What's the problem? And then we solve it. So that's a huge one, because it happens not only in personal relationships at home, but at work, the same thing happens. Like the way women speak, communicate at work, and the way we do is a shit show. Excuse my French, but because it's like these things happen and we have no idea. And how many times have you said to a woman, yourself? I've said many times, that's not what I said. That's not what I meant. That's not at all what I was doing. That's not it. How'd you get there? She's trying to guess what you're doing. Now anyway, so that's a huge one. Besides what drives us at our core, this is an anthropologically thing that I'm not going to explain here, but like the first one, the core of us as men and women, right? What we value ourselves for is completely different. We don't even know this, and we don't even know as men what it is for us, and women don't know what it is for them until you learn, and you go, oh. Anyway, and then understanding it. So that's a big piece. The second one is the communication. And then the third one is the dance. How do you learn to dance together? That's the work. It's fascinating.
I like what you said earlier about the dancing part, because the whole thing about the opposites attracts. You got to speak the other person's language, because it'd be kind of awkward if they're the same person as you, the same personality, the same way of dialogue, the same way of everything. That's not cool. So, yeah, I think that's a great point to make that illustration right there. My next question for you is, when you look at how there can be misconceptions between men, how they think about women, and women, how they think about men.
Yep.
I mean, you kind of touched on it moments ago, but just kind of hit the hammer on it again. What do you think causes the breakdown, if you will? Because everyone's different, obviously, but what do you think makes the breakdown to the point where the communication needs to be addressed, like the problem?
Well, it's when things go awry that you got to, clean it up. And we don't know how to do that, right? So that's another layer. We don't know how to clean up. We get mad. We get reactive. We start yelling. The other one pushes back. Because I say this to the ladies, if you're going to yell at a dude, you're attacking him. Now he's going to have to protect himself from you. He's going to push back because he's a warrior inside. If he's any kind of man, right? There's different level of softness, but if you're dealing with a man at all, attack him with some accusations, some condescending, criticism, tell him he needs to change his ways, right? Just come at him like a dog, right? See what happens. He's going to go, get the hell out of here. And then now he's a jerk. See, I'm trying to tell him some stuff, but you can't approach somebody when you're upset. It always goes awry. So these are the things that we don't know how to bring these things forward to have healthy conversation, adults to adults. We get triggered. Okay, we clamp down, and we get triggered again, and we clamp down. We get triggered and we clamp down until we blow. And it's a shit show. And it's that's exactly what doesn't work. But that's what everybody does because nobody knows how to freaking communicate and get their needs met or ask for correction, adjustment, because, that part of the dance is adjusting together. We have to, we're all different. But a complete opposition of men and women. So how do we, with our differences, come together? We have to talk about it. We have to negotiate it. People don't know how to do this. It's huge, but it's so much simpler than you think. You just have to learn. But what's out there ain't going to teach you. What's out there is like men should be more like women and men should be more like men. That doesn't work. It's ridiculous. It's against nature. It's completely against nature. And you don't look for somebody who's like you. You don't want to look for somebody who has the same interests as you. That's another false belief out there. He needs to be athletic and like to ski like it. No, he doesn't. He needs to like to travel like me. No, he doesn't. Right? It's the yin yang of that pulls together. You'll teach him to travel, maybe. He'll teach you how to ski, maybe. But you don't look for somebody like you. It's not. Again, that's how nature works. Nature is polarized. Everything's opposite. Everything. Every extrovert is married to an introvert. Polarized. Everything is so much so that when I meet somebody and I get to learn about them, I know exactly who the other person is. Whatever that is, exact opposite. That's the only way. This is nature. But we're not aware of that. Anyway, so I could do this all day long. Can you tell? So
once again, been listening to I Am Refocused Radio, watching this online, talking to our guest today, Andre Paradis. Go his website, projectequinox.net. We're definitely going to have a round two, because I think this was just a warm-up. I can't believe time has gone so fast, but I will have to have you back on in the near future, because I think this will be an amazing part two to have in the future. So like always, to you, Andre, I want to say thank you for clearing your schedule and being on. Hopefully have you on in the near future, man.
Do you have a second for the gifts?
Yes, do that real fast.
Yeah, so really, really quickly, a couple of minutes. So I noticed I do a lot of podcasts because I'm trying to bring hope to the world, and it's very doable to have healthy relationship. It's just what's out there is not helping. So I do 3-4 podcasts a week. Spread the wave, spread the hope. I notice there's two types of listeners on podcasts, and you're probably going to be aware of this. The people who just kind of jump in because they want, like, what's that masculine and feminine thing that everybody's talking about, and I don't know what I mean. I'm a powerful woman. Why is that a problem? I'm a nice guy. Why do I get put in the friend zone? Right, all that stuff. So people who are starting to poke around, like, what's all this about? Why isn't it working? I call them information seekers. So if you're, let the audience qualify themselves. If you're an information seeker, I'm gonna send you directly to my email, Andre Coaching, the number 1 at Gmail. AndreCoaching, the number 1 at gmail.com. And in the subject box, all you have to do is write Irresistible Book. And this is for the ladies, the gift for the ladies, information seekers. I'm going to send you a copy of my workbook is called The 5 Feminine Qualities High Value Men Find Absolutely Irresistible. Ladies, this is my work with men. 5 things, and it has nothing to do with your body or your hair color or none of it. It's energetically what men find irresistible about the female qualities. Fantastic. Like I said, I sell on my website, Andre Coaching 1. Irresistible book. I'll send you a digital copy for free. It's a workbook, by the way, 30 pages. You have to fill it in. It's really, really good. So gift number 1. Gift number 2 is, because I teach nature and science and, psychology, for a lot of people, it resonates. Oh, like there's something about it that kind of resonates. Now, if you resonate with anything I'm saying and understand that you're having a hard time with relationships, that means like you're looping, right? Same result, different person, same result, different person. What's wrong with me starts happening. Nothing wrong with you, right? We're a product of our past. So if you're more of an action taker, this is the second qualify, typical listeners, Andre Coaching 1, email me directly, and in the subject box, write talk now. And I'll send you a link to my calendar, and we'll set up a one-on-one call, and we'll talk about what's not happening for you. It takes a little bravery, but this is who I am. I'm here to help. It's on me. It's a gift. I don't charge for this call. And we'll discover seriously in about 15 minutes why you're stuck in the way you're stuck. We go right through childhood. I do this all day long. 15 minutes, and you realize there's nothing wrong with you. You're a product of your past. And if you're a product of your past, there's nothing wrong with you, we can fix it. And then we'll talk about what the dream life is, and what, if you want to get invested, there's different ways to work with me, small, medium, large. And like I said, it's a way to step into the work, to start decoding all these things, because there's so much, but it's not hard to learn. It's not hard to learn. So Andre Coaching 1, Talk Now, or Irresistible book. You could ask for both. You can email me some questions as well. I'll respond to you. This is what I'm here for. Bring it. If you tell me I'm full of crap, tell me I'm full of crap, but I'm not. I'll clean it. I'll clean it up for you. So thank you for that. That was important.
So once again, listen, I'll be focused already and watching this online. We'll definitely put all that information in the show notes as well. Want to say to Andre Paradis, go to his website, projectequinox.net. Once again, and like always, man, I want to say thank you for your time.
Thank you.